I'm hot right now and you're not, okay? Or you big mad, or you big mad.
Welcome back to Custom Culture. We are here today with two beautiful ladies. Today we are going to be talking about women in the car scene, how the culture accepts them, the challenges they face, and why they're so crucial to be part of the custom car scene right now, and just in life in general. Last time we talked about trends and just all the different things that social media has adapted with those trends. We had some great takes from Seth and Casey. This week, we're really hoping to get into some more, and it should be a good time. So let's jump right into it. We'll start with our first guest, Stef Boothe. She is amazing, fantastic. She does a ton in the scene. And then my beautiful wife as well, Alyssa Misuraca. She's great. She's been thrown into the scene thanks to me. And so she'll tell you a little bit about that, and we'll kind of jump it off. You want to get started?
Sure, yeah. So my name's Stephanie, probably most known from my model page in the car industry. So I started that back in 2017 and jumped in with a car club and then just kind of hopped through the scene where I met my husband, met him through work, but also met him through the scene. Met Taylor and Alyssa. Oh my gosh, it's been years now. It's been a long time.
I remember your wedding.
I know. It's been a long time. I'm thinking probably...
I've known Tyson
I met you the whole time, so I've known you the whole time. So
I've known Tyson for almost 12 years now.
Yeah, that's crazy. So, but separate from the car modeling, then got heavy into building my own car back in 2019 and just have been heavily immersed in the scene since then with modeling and the car scene for builds.
Awesome. Yeah, we love having the car out. We always love seeing it. Modern culture babes, that's a whole new take for you these days too. So plenty going on there. Babe, tell us a little bit about you and what it's like being thrown into the scene as your husband runs a business in the scene.
So I mean, my dad was always kind of in the scene. And obviously Seth, actually, who you just recently had on, is my dad's best friend and my uncle. So I've known of the scene and tangentially been around it, but then was thrown into it when I met you. And it's an interesting dynamic because I'm not really into building my own car or being in the scene myself. But obviously I have a knowledge, probably more than I ever thought that I would, because of who I married and where I'm at with that. So yeah, I don't have any car that I've built. I mean, I have my off-road build, I guess, that you've built for me, with the Jeep and actually taking that off-roading, and you bullied me into after my Spider got into a fender bender and somebody rear-ended me, instead of just putting a same bumper on.
You don't need stock parts. You don't need stock parts. We just build it out from there. Wide body kit, custom wheels.
Oh, it's never ending.
I said, I just need a drivable car. And Taylor said, so completely redo it?
See, car girl versus non-car girl. I get a fender bender and I'm like, let me redo this.
You're like, what will insurance pay for? She gets in a fender bender and she's like, so...
Can you just fix it enough for me to drive it?
Yeah, exactly. So, awesome.
And Nemo down here.
Yes, and eventually you'll see the dog. He's in all of our videos, and he's here today. So at some point you will see Nemo as well. He's fantastic. So we'll kind of jump into kind of some starter points. What kind of drew you into the scene to get started, you know?
Yeah, so I grew up around cars my whole life. My mom was an Air Force mechanic. My dad loved cars, older vehicles. Then he had a dream car, still has a dream car. He wants a Porsche 911. So that one will never be out of my mind. And then when I was younger, even before I met Tyson, I fell in love with the drift side of things. So that was always my thought, is when I got into cars and I was ready for it, that I was going to get into the drift scene.
Yeah.
And then when I got old enough, I would pick up 350Zs. I'm sure you remember this part of the life there, where I'd pick up 350Zs, fix something up, and then turn around and flip them. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, I can get into this. And then when I met Tyson, I had my other Z, and I'm just like, you know what? I really love this scene. Maybe I'm more interested in this from a build perspective. I'll get into the drift scene later.
Right.
And then that kind of pushed me into the modeling scene. And so I feel like it's always been a part of my life, But then once I met my husband, it's like, okay, great, we're going full force into this. And he was the one who was like, okay, get into it from a modeling perspective.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's really what drew me in. And then with the car clubs and like building that culture and family, and it's just continued ever since. So it's been my whole life, but really since I met Tyson.
Yeah. Tyson will have that effect on people.
Yeah.
The rocket ship that we continually
They're the
working
reason
on.
everyone
Back
was
in your
broke.
shop
So
yeah. Now, for you, obviously you are not 100% in the scene, but what's kind of been that moment when you were like, okay, I kind of don't mind the scene anymore? You know, I know originally for a lot of people, you start to get in the scene, you start to see the car scene and you're like, I just don't want to do this. And especially for the normal person, you're just like, a car is from A to B.
Yep.
But I know you've started to like building the Jeep and you love the off-road side. So when did you finally kind of have that click?
Spocom, I think it was.
Yeah.
Was that where we were? When there was it was the first show that I was at with you where there was an off-road section.
Yes, it would have been Spocom because they had the big overland section and
I can't remember if it was the same time that Seth was out there with us too.
Yeah, Seth was there.
And he ended up winning his first trophy. So you kind of sucked two people in the same show. But it was one where I was like, I actually want to go look at the cars. Because generally when I would come along to the car shows with you, it was just, I'm here to help you set up the booth. I'm here to help you run it. We need to use the restroom and whatever. And that was the first show where I was like, oh, there's like actually a section that interests me here. And I can go and I can look at stuff and take inspiration from it for like what I want to do with the Jeep for the purposes of overlanding or off-roading or camping or whatever it is for us. So
Spocom that was the first time you were like, I'm gonna leave the booth and I'm gonna go look at stuff.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna go look.
Yeah,
and
she comes back and she's like, there's a really nice 4Runner over there.
You should go look at it.
You should go look at it. I really like the 10. I really like this.
You're like, oh, she gets it.
I was like, oh, she's hooked. Because I mean, at the end of the day, the scene isn't just the Mercedes and the Z's and stuff like that. There is the off-road builds and the 4Runners and the pickup trucks. They're not as prevalent, which is super weird considering we're in Arizona.
Yep.
But they are there and they are part of it. So that's awesome that I've twisted your brain to like building cars.
One part of it.
So we'll kind of get into some more interesting things here and kind of the challenges and the stereotypes that women kind of deal with when they're coming in the scene and even when they're established in the scene. So what are some of those challenges that women face, not being taken seriously, gatekeeping? What are some of the things that you've kind of had to deal with or that you've seen as you entered the scene or as you've been in the scene?
Yeah, so I think like the first one you said is very prevalent, right? Is not being taken seriously because they either think you're in the scene just to be there or for attention and not necessarily...
You're a pretty face or...
Yeah, not necessarily being there because you love the scene. I think that's one thing that we face on a pretty regular basis. Female-built vehicles, which I'm sure we'll get into later, is its own topic, right? And then I think one that's not talked about enough, but is very prevalent in the scene, for whatever reason, is jealousy. It exists so prominently. All over. And it doesn't matter if you are a model or it's a show car or you're a drifter. There is some sort of like jealousy or animosity towards females in the industry, right? And so I think in this community, I try to stay so far away from those stereotypes, but it is something that truly happens. And I think things that women face where it's not like a guy, you're like, oh, hey, cool. Awesome, you're another guy in the show. Like, let me show you my build.
Right.
It's kind of like a little bit more standoffish at first. They'll be like, oh, that's cool. But it's typically like, oh, they didn't build that. It's just pretty face.
Yeah. It's so stereotypical, I feel like. It's like, people are like, you win best female trophy and they're like, oh yeah, her husband built that. Yep. And it must be even worse for you sometimes with Tyson. Because they're like, oh, look at Tyson's car. They're like, oh, yeah, he just built that in his spare time.
Yeah, or she won that because her husband's...
Right, yeah. Her husband won Best in Show, so they figured they had to give her something, or...
Yeah, and so I think that's a huge thing, and not understanding that there are so many more women that are coming into the community that actually have something to do with their build.
Yeah.
Or it's their idea, or this is their dream, right? Versus, oh, it's just a guy's dream. It is something that I feel like women still face. Maybe not as much. It's starting to become more and more prevalent that there are more women in the industry. But for a long time, like when I first came into the industry, they're like, what you doing? Where'd this car come from?
Right.
So that I think is like the biggest challenge for anybody coming into the scene.
I think there's always like some jealousy just in general when someone new comes into the scene, and
Yeah.
you're like, especially if you come in with a really well-built car.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about last week of like people that are, you know, maybe financing parts to get the top tier parts and stuff like that, and they show up to their first show and it's like, bam, fully built, you know, wide body, and you're like,
Yeah.
did you really build that, or did you
Yes.
buy it from somebody?
Yep.
And so it just rolls over to that situation of just like, you show up with a nice car and it's like, oh, she didn't really build that, it's somebody else's car, she bought it that way. So that's just it's unfortunate that the car scene kind of has that tendency just in general, and I feel like it's implied so much more to women.
It is, and it's so, I mean, it is what it is. But as time goes on, I also think there's also that piece where you almost have to prove yourself as a woman in this scene versus men are just like, I mean, granted, if the car's stock, everybody's like, that sucks.
It's a piece of shit.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Do you feel like you get it worse as a model in the scene too because you overlap?
So at first, yes, I was like, okay, having a car, I always thought this would be cool, right? You're a model and you have a car in the scene. You're on both sides. Some people look at that as like, oh, you're using one or the other to get to certain things.
Right.
Or like still to this day, I'm like, no, I just think it's cool. Like, and sometimes I feel like, oh, I'm not bringing my car to this show because I'm modeling at this show.
So then there's a weird like
then there's a
bias,
weird-
or at least it's implied like a weird like bias.
But I'm like, I shouldn't care because I love both. I love the modeling and I love my car.
Right.
Or like taking pictures of my car. Sometimes I'm like, this feels weird.
Yeah.
But I'm like, but I love my car. It's pink.
And I would do it with any other car.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
like,
so
why
what's the
wouldn't
difference
I?
of that?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think a lot of it is like as I've gotten older and in the scene too, it's like, I just don't care what people think.
Yeah.
I'm like, people are going to make their opinions regardless.
Yeah.
So.
And I think that comes with a lot for a lot of people just with like age and maturity. But I know there's obviously younger women coming into the scene that are just like, fuck everyone, I'm just doing it. And that's awesome. Like I see, you know, just scrolling through Instagram, you see so many women that are just like, I'm just going to build my car. And
I
there's
love it.
so many and they'll post the hater comments on their like videos and they're just like, fuck you, I'm still going to build my car. And they're like, why is it that color? Why'd you use those wheels?
We have a famous Facebook group for that.
Really?
I'll call that one out all day. AZ Street Heat. All day long. My face has been all over that.
Really?
All over that throughout the years.
Yeah.
Like, we have one of those, but, I mean, it's very entertaining.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
It's like, it's hilarious to see, but it is. That's the way that I view the industry sometimes. In my head, when I'm at a show, I'm like, this is the topic of conversation, or somebody's saying this, or they're going to post this, or whatever.
Who's talking behind my back?
Yeah.
Is that person actually going to post a picture of me and say something nice?
Yes, and now I don't care. But when I was younger, I'm like, I felt the need to defend myself in that. Now I'm like, okay, it's a car. It's fine.
Car, yeah, exactly. Speaking of like, obviously the Facebook group that has kind of lit you up, is there a difference between like online hate towards women and like real world hate at the shows?
100%. Because people will hide behind a screen all day and comment and post, and like even us as models, right? Like even model culture babes, like we get it at shows, comments underneath there, and they're typically more vulgar or crude, right? But those people are never going to come up to us in person.
Oh no.
And it's the same thing I feel like for women in the industry. When you go in and you're at a car show, if you post a picture with your car online, you're going to get like 50. When I first built my show car, people, that's not a Mercedes. What are you doing? You ruined it. Blah, like, but those same people in person are going to be like, I love your car.
Yeah, it's so nice.
You
I
know?
love the color.
So 100% different from online to in person, because most people are afraid to really say what they think out loud.
Yeah, that's...
They realize once they say it with their whole chest that they're like, oh, that's maybe gonna get me a little bit of hate.
And I'm
but
like, I'm so confrontational where I'm like, go ahead, say it with your chest. I could take it. But
give me that full force. I'd love to hear it.
Do you feel really good about saying that now after everybody's looking at you?
Yeah. I'm like, go ahead. Just don't cry when I fight back, because you're going to get some not very nice words.
You want to chew on my build? Let's talk about yours.
Yes.
You know?
It's a double-edged sword too, like social media. Like they... For females in the scene, you're seeing people who are now in the scene, and you're able to kind of like, it's one of those where like you walked so they could run type things, you know? Whereas it's a double-edged sword, because then there's also more room for the haters to comment on it. But then, they're not going to come up to you in person because they don't have the balls.
Me, 8 years ago, would have like just let all that fly and be like, it's okay, it's not that serious, don't talk about it. But me, 8 years forward, I'm like, there's no way, because at what point do people really think it's okay to then talk about somebody else's build, especially a female? Like, you think about a lot of people coming into the scene right now, they're 18, 19, 20-year-old kids, where that's 8 to 10 years behind us, where we're like, hold on.
Yeah.
They have a passion for this. Don't shit on it. Like, just let them do what they want to do.
It's so hard with social media too, because at the end of the day, you want to get yourself out there. You want to present your build. You want to present, especially for you as a model. The more followers you have, the more potential sponsorships and things like that you can get. And but then you continue to have to deal with the hate and the jealousy and the things that come with that, and just the comments. Like, I can only imagine that. Like, I get shit comments on my stuff.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine what happens to some of the women out there.
And that creates such a real like burnout.
Yeah.
Because I love the scene. I love the modeling side. I love the car side, all of that. But I think it really does create a burnout where you're like, I'm going to take a step back. I'm not going to post as much. Let me just sit back and watch and see what's happening. But it goes back to like different age variations, right? Because before I'm like, take a step back. Now I'm like, maybe I'm not going to take a step back. I'm just going to be very intentional with what I'm posting, and I'm going to clap back if I need to.
Right. Like, if you're going to throw shade, then I'll throw it right back.
Exactly.
Yeah, we can have this back and forth. It's totally fine. So, I'm speaking as far as like 8 years ago and current, have you noticed that respect and representation has gotten better for women, or is it just kind of a flat line?
So I think it really depends on who you know.
Okay.
Unfortunately. Like, it's not, I think it is one of those situations where I'm also very big on this, like, respect is earned, right? And I will be very respectful up front. I don't know you. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. But women in the industry 8 years ago versus now, I think there is still a big level of who you know, who's going to support you and respect you up front, right? Versus who you don't. Because there might be some people who I've noticed nowadays, right, with the younger generation, I love your car. That's so cool. That's so awesome. Whose car is that? Whereas before it was like, this is stupid. So I guess in a way, do I think that we have grown from 8 years in the industry? Yes. In that aspect, I think people are a little bit more forthcoming and forgiving and being like, oh, I like this vehicle.
Yeah.
I think it's grown a little bit in that way.
That's good.
For a woman in the industry in general and the scene, I don't know. I feel like it's a wave. For sure a wave.
Well, like you said, it comes down to who you're interacting with, because there's always going to be that side of the crowd, regardless if it's in the scene or anywhere in the world. There's always going to be that side that doesn't like it and is going to throw shade and is going to hate it. And so if you are around that, or you're putting yourself in front of that, then obviously you're going to see that on a regular basis. You surround yourself with people that are a little bit more positive, that have more interest and are a little bit more respectful, then you don't have to deal with that as much.
And I do think that's part of why, like, it's people you know, right? Like, I know you, if you come over, you're like, oh, your car looks great, right? But somebody who doesn't know you, there is going to be that side where they're like, oh, I'm going to shit on that.
Right.
I think it looks awful. But then there's also, on the positive side, like, not all negative, right? But, like, on the positive side of that, there are so many people who we don't know who are like, that's awesome. Tell me what you did. Like, Tyson gets that all the time, right? What's a guy?
Yeah, exactly.
But like, and for me, I feel like I have noticed at shows recently, people will take like a lot of pictures and they're like, oh, I really like your build, or I love the color and it's really cool.
Right.
But most people still, like, sometimes I'll put like my model cards and stuff around there.
Yep.
Most people still don't understand it's a female built, female driven car. They are always like, where's the owner? And I'm like, I'm right here.
Hi.
Yeah.
You're looking at her.
I may have bikini and heels on, but I can still build a car. Thanks.
Yeah. So I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like maybe people were more standoffish 8 years ago in the scene, whereas now I think people are maybe a little bit more supportive is a better way for me to put that. I do see it. But I also don't know if I'm correlating that to like, oh, it's because I know so many people in the scene now, or if it's because that's this new generation of it.
I I do see a lot more female builds
Yep.
these days. It used to be like if you won best female build, it was like, yeah, you and one other car, you know?
Yes.
Whereas now there's 5, 6, 7 builds at every show with females, and they're all different, you know, levels of build. You know, some of them are just starting off, which is great, and we want to support that. And there's people like you that are, you know, coming close to that full build situation. And so it's good to see at least more out there.
And also on that side of the scene, more drifters. So like
Yes.
there's a lot of female drifters that have come out
I have
right
seen
now,
a ton on Instagram.
which I love. That's like a whole another topic, but I love that. So I think there's a lot of support in that as well. And I think more women are starting to, which is what I have tried to do now, but like more women are starting to get into all aspects of it, right?
Yeah.
Versus not just one or the other and limiting themselves.
Right.
But I do see a ton of female drifters now.
And that's awesome, because I think with drifting comes kind of the aspect of like, not only are you doing like a body kit and wheels, but like a lot of these women are building the engines.
Yep.
They're doing the leg work. They're doing crazy body and suspension work. So it lends itself even further from just like, cool, I built a show car, to, no, I built this entire LS3 from the ground up on myself, which is...
And I'm going to go drive it now and
Right.
put my body on the line. Like, don't even think about like the physical build aspect, but like you are now putting yourself in the driver's seat. I'm going to go fucking do that.
Oh, 100% from start to finish. Like from the build to getting in the driver's seat to then it's breaking those stereotypes of like that's typically a male.
Oh, 100%. Mechanic is generally a male trade.
Yeah.
Drifting is generally a male sport.
Yes.
So...
And that's what I think too. I think part of the reason I put myself now, or putting myself into that as well, is it's like I can change an O2 sensor. Like I know what I'm doing. Basic stuff in a car, right? I can drive a stick shift. I've done the modeling side of
Tyson
it.
can.
Tyson can.
Sorry, babe.
You see how Taylor and I are both like, gotta get in that
I don't have to. I do
We
the
both
modeling
can drive a
scene.
stick shift and
Oh,
Tyson
that's-
can.
Yeah.
That's
She's got a bike speed.
babe.
Come on.
So
I'll teach you.
yeah, we got to teach him. I'm like, the drift car is sitting in the driveway. I can teach him this.
I know. We just gotta get it
Time,
running.
right? Oh, yeah, that's important too. But it's like I started there. I did the whole flip thing. I'm in the car modeling scene. I've built the car, female built, female driven.
Yeah.
Have a female, which I want to get into as well, that has built that car, right? That initially. And then now getting into the drift scene. I feel like to really grow in the scene as a female and maybe be respected a little bit more, you start touching on all of those avenues. I feel like maybe that's a way, and if you have a passion for it, right? Some women don't have the passion for it.
No.
But I feel like because, and it's the stereotype. Because women are typically less respected in this car scene, I feel like the more you do and the more you get onto those sides of the male aspects of the industry, there's a different level of respect there.
100%.
Or it's like, oh shit, she just did this, this, and this, and now she's gonna drift?
Yeah.
Can she drift? Can she do that?
Yeah.
Can she build a car? Does she know how to change her oil? Do you know how to change a tire? You know, like things that typically in this world, in the car scene,
A guy does it.
it's a guy.
Yep.
Right. So, yeah.
I mean, that's one of the first things when we started dating, even before we got married, I was like, you're going to learn how to change a tire. You're going to learn how to do oil. You're going to learn how, if you get stuck on the side of the road, you're going to learn how to figure out what's going on with your car. Because
I didn't know.
Because you didn't know.
I didn't,
And
yeah.
a lot of, and the funny thing is, it's not even women these days. There's a lot of guys that don't know. Like,
just
no shade to our roommate, but like, Matt was like, you could do an oil change at home? And I was like,
oh boy.
Yep. And I took him out there and I showed him how to do it. I showed him how to rotate tires. And he was like, oh, I'll never have to go in again, you know?
Now, I might not have figured out how to not run out of gas. But
That's a separate issue.
Yeah.
That's not an engine thing.
That
That's
might
like
not
my
be your fault.
forgetfulness.
There's a gas gauge, and if it doesn't work, that can be hard to diagnose, especially in newer cars.
Oh no, I for sure procrastination.
Yeah,
I'm just like,
it's
this is
That's-
Tyson's gonna do this for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey babe, I just got home. However, I was out of gas 10 minutes ago, so can you get me gas?
Right. Can you pick up a jerry can real quick?
Yeah.
Taylor yells at me about that too. I ride mine real low.
Yeah.
I think that's also a stereotype, but I feel like that's a true
Oh,
stereotype.
that one. I was like, yeah.
Yeah. How have women kind of changed the design of the scene and maybe the creativity of the scene? Because you think about certain aspects of builds, and men are obviously very heavily influenced in how certain things are trendy or what's the new.
Yeah.
How have women changed that? Because there's obviously a portion of that.
So I think for women, it's not so much trend. It's we're already so strong in our minds of like, we get our mindset on something and
Right.
we're going to do it. And I think it's really more just like impulsive. I hate saying it that way, but
Fuck it, let's go.
It's exactly. I'm like, I want neon yellow accents in my car. Do it today.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I want a hot pink car. I have a hot pink car. Like, women are like that, right? They want it and they want it right now and they want it a certain way.
Yep.
And so it's not so much trends. It's what do we want? How do we want to do it? Even if it's ridiculous.
Yep.
And I think in a lot of ways, that's kind of opened the door for men to do that as well.
Yes.
Because yes, there's trends to it, but I feel like women are just kind of like, nope, that's what I want. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And so it is also not so like, think back in 2017 IFO days as far as like, best paint going to a solid color.
Right.
Right? Or best wheels and they're
white Rohanas.
Yeah, white Rohanas. I'm like, the industry, I think a lot of that has changed because we are a little bit more bold with wrap colors and wheel colors
Design,
and yes,
interior
design.
choices.
Yep, and themes. Like
Yeah.
a lot of women do themes, and even I've seen a lot of men start to do that. But I think that has really opened up the industry, and not taking credit for all of that. Like I think men can be creative.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But women are typically more creative in that aspect of like creative, and it has to be done right now.
Yeah. I want it
Where
done
it's
like
like
yesterday.
yes,
Oh, 100%.
where it's like they've opened up the side of that scene to then be like, oh, okay, like I am a guy, but I have a graphic wrap. Or I'm a guy, but I now have a theme. Or my wheels are splattered. Or not
I've
even
got
powder coated.
just glitter everywhere or
Yes.
whatever.
Yeah, like these glitter wraps, like things that you're like, oh, that car must be owned by a female. And you look at it and you're like, oh, no, that's a dude.
No, it's a big
Yep.
burly dude.
Yeah.
He's like, this is my car.
Yep, or like carbon wheels,
Right.
right? Like there's so many different designs I've seen that stem from women that are like, oh, I'm going to be in the industry, but I'm going to make it fun.
Yeah.
That have opened up the scene for men to do the same. So
Oh, yeah.
I think it's really transformed like the creativity side of the scene. And then definitely, I think my husband got this from me, is the no patience. I have to have it done right now. Poor you. Is the car in your garage right now?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, like,
It's in like 6 different pieces right now.
Yeah.
And we just keep adding stuff because
Yep.
there's always more to do.
that might be my fault. The second I got in that accident, I'm like, can I do this right now?
Yeah.
And then he just took off.
Yep.
So yeah, I think it does. They have to have it right now.
100%. It's got to be done now.
Well, and I think too, like your thing about like the colors. Oh, you're getting so many kisses.
Okay. Sorry, I'll take it all.
Like the colors and just like the opening up the doors. Like you've got a hot pink wrap. He was like, "What wrap do you want? You know, the spider." Now that they're changing the color after the accident, and I was like a bright, like light teal blue. Like,
Yeah.
like it's just you're giving a little bit more freedom than just black, white, red.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think back to like how I've built cars and how I still build cars. Like it's methodical. You
Yeah.
make a bookmark list of like all the parts you want, and then you slowly purchase the parts and you get it all together. And you have that idea for like years, and then it finally comes to fruition. Whereas I feel like as the car scene has changed, now it's just like, boom, I'm doing it right now.
I was gonna say, what century are we talking about?
I am so,
I'm
dude,
like-
I have the next 6 months planned out for my car already. And like, I'm slowly kind of adding things to it. Whereas like, she's like,
I need it right now.
I need it now.
Yep.
Let's do
Yeah.
it right now. Can we?
And so Tyson and I have actually flipped roles in that aspect because he's like, I need it now. And I'm like, no, it's okay. Like I'm not ready to put my sound system in yet because I don't know if I like the color of my car.
Right.
Like, do I want to do this, or I'm going to do it in just different steps?
Right.
And I'm like, typically in the past, I'm like, no, I need this right now. Like my drift car, I had to have it right now. So I think there's different parts of the industry in cars. I'm like, oh, I have to have this. And then there's parts of me that have kind of like backpedaled. But that's what I'm saying. Like it's completely flipped.
Is there any like maybe unique builds or some women that have kind of inspired you in the build scene?
Yeah. So my car is built by her. So Tempe Collision Center,
Mhm.
and her name is Callie. And I don't even know. I've been so off social media lately. I don't even know if she's still working there. But one of the most unique things about my car is it's female built and it's female driven. And so most people don't get to say that, right? I mean, originally it started that way. Now you've had your hands all over it. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not, can't really say that. But this car, hi Bubs, is female built and female driven. And she is probably the most talented fabricator and somebody who has put that car together from nothing
Mhm.
that I have ever met. And I'm like, she deserves so much credit because the car wouldn't have even come to what it is without that, right? So like from a build perspective, having that woman in the industry, I think is incredible.
Right.
And there's starting to be more of that. Like you see more female mechanics, more females who are getting their hands in the car from
Yes.
like just that mechanical side of it, right?
Yep.
Fixing it or building it in general, which I think is incredible. Swapping engines, like all of the things that, hi, you're so sweet.
You're gonna hear all the little sniffles in the
yeah.
microphone.
All of the things that you used to not see. So like her from a build perspective. Then we have Rhonda, who runs Modded Culture Babes,
Yes.
who in the industry on that side, like has completely changed my life. When I looked at modeling in the industry in general, I'm like, oh, okay, like, you know, you take pictures, you might meet some people, it might help you grow your business somewhere.
Right.
You have your car club you take pictures with. But that really, I mean, she completely changed the scene with having a group of women that are really like a family and then having like a merch line that's associated with it. That's part of the car show, right? Which I think is incredible. And then from the drift side of things, which kind of put me back into this is, I don't know if you're familiar with this name, but you know, or have you heard of Amanda Sorensen?
The name rings a bell.
So she is in her early 20s,
Okay.
and she's a drifter, and she's sponsored by like Air Force and Rockstar and all that. She's the first female to ever podium in Formula Drift.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So I feel like in all aspects of my car scene, so like modeling, build, drift, I have these different women that I'm like, oh, they did it, I totally can. Or like, I'm accepted here as a woman because I have this support group of women in all different sides of this industry, which that I think is incredible. Watching us get to that point where we have somebody we can idolize or look up to that's not just a guy in the scene, right?
Yep.
So I think all three of them, like two that I know, right, personally, and then one that I don't know, but has given me just this like spark of like, oh, I want to do this.
Well, yeah, it's, you know, for everyone, it's always nice to have kind of that person that's gone before you or that person that you can look up to that has achieved something. And you're like, if you can do that, I can do just something like this, right? So having that is fantastic. I mean, funny enough, like I think I have a very distant cousin.
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh. This is the craziest story.
So her uncle sends me a message one day and he was like, do you have a cousin that's a race car driver? And I was like, no, I don't. And he goes, I think you do. Because my last name, let's be honest, Misuraca is not a common last name. I think I've met, I don't think I've met anyone with it. I've like heard of people with it. But yeah, so he sends me her profile. So I start looking over it and she's from Florida is where she's based out of right now, is where she does a lot of her racing. But she does like legit like NASCAR racing.
Wow.
Like she's a little bit further down in the, you know, the, I don't even know if it's considered like
minor
leagues
almost.
Oh.
But I know there's stages of racing. It's not like the MLB where you get drafted by the Cubs and you go to AA, AAA or whatever. It's, you just kind of work your way up through the different stages. And she's not in, you know,
top
Sprint Cup or whatever, but she's racing legitimate NASCARs.
That's crazy.
And I ended up connecting with her and I was like, this is going to sound super weird, but I think we're related. And no shit, our ancestors came over most likely on the same boat.
Crazy.
Her side of the family stopped in New York and her great-grandfather, her grandfather and her dad have been racing cars for their entire life.
Which actually makes so much sense
Yeah.
why you are the way that you are.
I know, right? I mean,
I'm like, this makes so much sense, even though it's so like.
well, my
far
dad
removed
worked
on the
for
other
Chrysler
side.
for 30 years,
It's in
and he
his
loves
blood, it
cars.
feels
For
like.
sure.
Yeah, and
It's
so
like,
she's been racing, and so we connected a little bit, and I was like, dude, your family is awesome. Like,
literally your bloodline, like,
Yeah.
which makes tons of sense.
but
yeah.
she's doing huge. She's super well sponsored. She does, 10, 15 races every year, but like she's just
I feel
doing
like we
crazy
should plug
stuff.
her. We remember what her name was.
I can't remember her first name off the top of my head, but she's awesome. And I see her stuff all the time. She's
That's so
married
cool.
and whatnot. So, but yeah, just to see a girl like that obviously I'm somewhat related to, but just
Yeah.
to see like super cool things that she's doing in like NASCAR, which is ridiculously men dominated.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, any racing in general is men dominated, but like women are starting to come a little bit more into drifting, which is, but like you think about professional racing, like NASCARs and F1 and all of that. There's so many women that are making their way into it.
I think I can think of one name off the top of my head that has any sort of notoriety of Danica Patrick, right? That's her name?
She was probably one of the first.
She was like
big
the first
female
big
racers.
one, and I can't even think of.
Well, you think of
anybody
Ken
else.
Block's daughter.
Oh,
she's
yeah.
doing huge things now.
Yep.
Because I think she's testing with Williams, if I'm correct.
I don't remember, but it's crazy, like looking at that. And then I also think that goes back to like, if men can do this, I can do this.
Right.
Like, it doesn't matter anymore. And especially in this industry, I'm like, I love it. And then, like from a build perspective on the show side, there's so many women coming in.
Oh, yeah.
And like a lot, and where I see a lot of them, and from what I've seen with some of the recent shows, is like more mini trucks. Like there's a lot of women, like I can't think of her name off the top of my head right now, and I feel bad for not remembering this, but Selena, she freaking does the Swing King stuff, and I'm like, I never would have thought that a woman would be maybe in that, right? And so it's cool to see, and she dominates it every single time.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see more and more people from either the show or the build aspect or even the drift aspect and the racing aspect. There's more and more women that are coming to the top, and these names are getting recognized.
Yeah. No, I think it's awesome to see the progression, especially I think in the last 10 years, there's been a huge progression of women in. I know, I follow F1 a lot, and there's a ton of women testing with top teams for F1.
Yeah.
There's a ton of women in the Williams training and the Ferrari training and the Red Bull training, which is just crazy to say because there's never been a female F1 driver. So to see, I think there was one class that was like 90% women testing for professional F1 driving.
Yes.
Like that's insane. And it's just amazing to see it, I think. Going to you though, I know you don't know about the car scene, but looking at like overlanding and off-roading and stuff like that, we love X-Overland.
X-Overland's the coolest.
And they are super just kind of a great family unit. They have obviously the family, but they also bring in so many different women that just kind of do things on their own. They had that whole rally that the two of them went and did. Do you remember that?
Yeah, it was her and it was Shelly who's the main the wife of the main guy.
Yeah, of Clay.
Of Clay. And was it Ashley who went and did it with her?
Maybe.
But I think in the overland scene, you are seeing more and more of that. And I think that part of that's just a product of like more people seeing that, oh, well, they did it, so I can do it too.
They incorporate women so much into their teams of like, they're not just the cook.
Yeah.
Like Shelly does a lot of the cooking when she's on.
But they're the drivers. They're like they're the hard
navigators.
terrain drivers. They're the navigators. They're planning out the whole trip.
And this year, what I saw too was interesting is like not so much in the car scene, but kind of still the car scene, but like more from a show perspective is like monster truck.
Yes.
Women. They had women drivers this year. You never see that.
No, you don't.
Like that is definitely something that has also evolved. I saw that when they were here. I'm like, oh, okay. And then even SEMA, like a lot of SEMA vendors too. Ton of women.
Yeah.
Business owners in this
There's
industry
a ton
too.
of women business owners these days, especially with like wrap shops. Because let's be honest, women are a little bit more patient than men.
Yeah.
And wrapping takes a little bit of patience.
Yeah. But there's even wheel companies now.
Yes.
By women. there was at SEMA this year, I want to say it was like more towards off-road, but there were like custom cable, certain things like that, or cables that they were doing. And these are women-owned businesses in the scene. So it is definitely evolving.
Oh, 100%.
For sure in that direction. And more drivers, more business owners, more builds, just everywhere around. Now, I don't know that everybody loves that, but I do. Like, it's cool to see it going.
I think there's something to be said too for like the women who walked so that they could run, right? And let's be honest, we're fast walking. We're not running yet. We're not there yet. But there is something to be said too for men who are supportive of that. And I think that we as a friend group, just outside of the car scene, have done a really good job of surrounding ourselves with people in the car community who are that way. I mean, the Tysons, the Caseys, the Yus, the Georges, the Seths, right?
100%.
Like, everybody in Dinamica really, like, is very supportive of supporting women. And whatever we can do, like, they want to help. You hired a female worker in your shop, right?
Yes.
Like,
I totally forgot about that.
And she's been very open about, like, nobody will give me a chance, and I just need a chance. Like, I will prove it to you, and I just need a chance. And so I think there's something to be said, too, for women supporting women.
100%.
But it's really important for men to also support women. And I don't want to say it's more impactful, but to a certain extent, if you're not talking shit, there's less people talking shit to you. You know what I mean?
I think it kind of is because this industry is so male dominant. If there is a male supporting a woman openly as well, right?
Yeah.
Like, not just like, oh, I sent you a DM and this is so cool.
Yeah.
Right. But you're openly being supportive.
You're plugging the business. You're supporting the business at shows.
Yes.
You're commenting on the posts.
And very much
sharing.
what you have built with our entire team is we don't have one person that talks down on a woman trying to do this. No. Like, we don't get hate. You and I do not get hate in this at all.
Really, you're definitely the more.
I know, but you don't. But like, now that you're getting into it, like, everybody's like, "Oh, I'm welcoming you with open arms."
Yeah,
we have that kind of support.
I've never felt like there was any sort of weirdness or animosity with anybody who's in our group. But I will say, like, helping you run your booths, there's a definite difference of when he's at the booth and people come up and you can tell they want to talk.
110%.
Yeah.
Versus if I'm the only one at the booth, it's like they'll hang around and wait for the man to come back to talk to the man.
Because in that part, not going back to stereotypes, but kind of like they don't know anything.
Yeah.
Which, like, I don't. Yeah. I'll be very honest about it. Yeah. But, like, I know enough. If you come up and you go, what do you do? I can tell you what he does.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I can
give
tell
you a business card. I can tell you what we do. You can tell me what you want, and I can say, yeah, we can do that or no. Like, just because you're not the owner of the business and you're not in the garage slaving at it all day.
But they don't know that I'm not. You know what I mean? And I'll totally own the fact that, like, we do that show every week where I have no idea what the fuck that part is, and I am very open about it, and I don't really care to know. It's not my thing. Yeah. I have other things that I'm passionate about. It spins. It's a pull-up bar. Like, whatever it is, but, like, they don't know that. Right. You know what I mean? Yep. And while I'm comfortable not knowing, and I'm like, fine, I don't care that you think that that's stupid, but, like, they don't know that I don't know. Right. And yet I'm still getting that stereotype, and it doesn't matter that I'm sure I reinforce that stereotype to a certain extent. Yeah. But I could still tell you what he does. You come up and you say, what do you do? I can say, well, first of all, read the freaking sign that's sitting right here.
There's a gigantic 6-foot sign that tells you everything we can do. Yeah. And then just look at the lineup of cars that we have.
Yeah. And then I can just point you to the cars down the line and say, he does everything on those cars. So what do you want?
Yeah. But it does also come back to just, there's going to be those people. Yep. You know, at the end of the day, we've surrounded ourselves with a group of people, and we try to associate with a group of people that are supportive of everyone, right? You know, we support each other, we support women, we try to support businesses as much as we can, especially small businesses. Yeah. But at the end of the day, there's still that niche group of the car scene and just the world in general that if you're a woman, they're just going to kind of hate on you.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember the guy who asked if I was your secretary?
Which is funny because, like, you do run a lot of the finances.
I do. I run a lot of your finances and stuff for you. But again, not normally a woman-dominated thing is to run the finances for the business.
For a business, for sure.
So, I mean, I am involved on the back end for your business, but the funny part was at the time, I was running my business and I was doing stuff for my business on the computer. And
she was literally, like, sending her emails and she was just chilling chilling there, and they were like, "Are you his secretary?"
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, how cute that your wife is doing your secretary work," and I was like, "You can shut the literal fuck up."
Yeah. You'd be like, hold on.
Hold on.
There's 300 emails in my inbox that I still got to get to.
Yeah. And I think that's another thing too, is like how it's evolved and even like how we evolve as people, right? Like when you first get into the industry, you're shy, you're timid, you don't know what it is. And then you're years down the road and you're like, no, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to tell you off.
Yeah.
And even if I don't, I might do it respectfully, right? And I might do it in my response, but it's being so confident in like who you are and what you've built that one, like that kind of stuff doesn't get under my skin anymore. But I will be damn sure that you don't affect that 17, 18, 19-year-old in the industry where they then want to drop out of it. Because that, I think, more is my concern now.
Yes.
Is I don't care what people say about me. I could care less. But
not everyone's there yet.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But that 17, 18, 19-year-old girl that's drifting, building a car, whatever they're doing, modeling, is not there. So you scare them away. That's how we start to dwindle down in the industry.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then less quality vehicles, and you have not so safe drivers, or not enough models to cover the scene, you know?
Or not a safe environment for women to be in,
in general.
Right?
Yep.
Like, there's already that stereotype on a lot of stuff where it's just not a safe environment for women, and if it's not a supportive group for women, and unfortunately, it has to be the people like the yous, like the men who are supporting women who are willing to step up and say, that's not a really okay thing to say. You really feel good about that right now?
And that's like a perfect example. And like, this is more on the modeling side, but still in the scene is, we were working a car show and there was somebody who was drunk and just using disrespectful slurs and terms. And I'm like, hold on. Like, 17-year-old me, 18-year-old me, probably not comfortable to say something.
Yeah.
But me now, I'm like, you don't belong here. Get out. And you, who just heard all of that, don't take that to heart.
Yeah.
This, like, it's not you.
No.
Let it go and, like, continue to move on. Be so comfortable in who you are. It's like, I feel like almost like part of our generation and being in this for so long too is it's now our job to make sure like these littles are okay and they continue to move up and they're supported. And even though we have such a strong, tight group with our car club, I think that we're all in a position to where as some of these younger ones come in, their build might not be there yet.
Right.
But we've never been, and even like myself, I've never been somebody to shy away and be like, you can't be here. You know, it's how do we build them up? Get them ready, get them comfortable, man or woman, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
And get this scene continuing to transform in acceptance, in not having gender role stereotypes, and just everybody being this like one big supportive happy family that we have done so well building, but we're like, there's 10 of us, right? Versus hundreds of thousands.
Well, that's the thing is like you can build your supportive group and you're like, this is so great, but then you still look at the bigger picture and you're like, yeah, half these people are dicks, you know? And it's so unfortunate because like you said, it's very much trying to build up the new people that are coming in because for the most part, I'm going to show respect regardless of I may not like your car and that's fine. Everyone has their own thing. But as long as you're respectful to me, I'm going to be respectful to you as a person, whether you're a man or a woman.
Right.
And that's the biggest thing is like, you don't have to like their shit, you know, but that doesn't mean you can't be nice to them.
That's the thing too, is like respect goes so far in this community. And like one thing I will say, and I will commend modded culture forever on this, is the community that has been built with that show and that just, and I don't want to call it a team because it's not a team, but you know what I mean? Like that community, it really is like modded culture is kind of its own community, but the supportiveness, the just the ability to like be respectful and non-judgmental and just like it's a very self-aware community, which that does prior to that did not exist in our scene other than inside of each individual car club that has their people, right? So I think like the more and more that they grow and like we as individuals grow and the more women who come into the scene give so much opportunity for this scene to just grow in the direction it needs to versus it's 2010, 2015 and there's 2 women. Right?
Exactly.
So
I think that's part of like, I mean, I know you've talked shows, like car shows previously on the podcast, but I think that's one of the reasons that you guys as a car club are so supportive of modded culture.
Yeah.
Right? Like they have done such a good job creating a space where it's really integrated and really accepting. And I don't think that a lot of other shows have done a great job of that. And that's reflected in multiple ways, not just, the acceptance, but also show quality.
100%.
But they're doing a really good job across the board.
They're very inclusive. Oh, you want that? Okay.
It's my note.
They're very inclusive, which I think is something like myself. I strive to be in this industry and as a person in general, right? But it wasn't like that. And even still, some of these shows that have been around forever, it's, oh, I know that person, or they traveled to come here, or that's who the trophy's going to. It doesn't matter if, again, male or woman, but like specifically females, it doesn't matter if we just spent all this time building a vehicle. If that person that or is following a judge around and is like, have you seen my car today? Will you go judge my car? There's that I think some shows have that.
Yes.
Whereas where we are in 2025 and what I think all of us are trying to build and the support that we continue to give that show as well is that's the direction it's going. And I think we all align with that.
Totally.
And that's like, okay, great. How do we get now our entire community and all females that are coming in to have that same level of respect and support, right?
And like you said, respect is something that is earned. And so if you're going to come in all guns blazing, it's really hard for people to give you respect. Even as a woman, if you come in, you still have to give respect to the people that are there before you, regardless if they're man or woman. And that is, I think that's something that younger generation struggles with sometimes, is they just come in and they're like, my shit's the fucking best. And you're like, sit the fuck down.
I'm like, please sit down.
I've been here for 15 years. Move over.
Yes.
Take several seats.
I will 100% say I have experienced that in myself. And like, this situation very well, right? But I experienced that where I move that way, where I'm like, I want to give everybody like the same level of respect and support and love, but also know your place.
Exactly.
Right? And it's like, hold on, baby steps. We need to get to a point where just because somebody knows a parent in the industry or you have a family member or a friend, you also have to make that name for yourself.
Yes, you can't just ride coattails.
Yep, and it's not just like I know this person, look at me.
Right.
It's, okay, I know my place. I'm coming into this industry brand new. I know nothing about this. Let me find my people. Let me learn. Let me build.
Yes.
And let me not necessarily earn my place, but earn the awards and achievements that you are going to build.
Yes.
Because it's not like I just bought a car off of Craigslist that's fully built and now I'm going to take all the credit for that, right? Like, or wherever. But it's not the same as having the passion, putting blood, sweat, tears into this thing. Like, if you haven't cussed at the car and been like, sell this thing, you haven't experienced it yet.
Right.
Because you will go through those phases. Like, at Spocom, the first year I took it when I got it wrapped, and I think you were there. You guys were both there.
Was it the lights?
No. Yeah, well, yes, the lights, they were, when you saw them, the lights were off, but I got stuck in like a hotel. It had like a divot in the middle, and my car wasn't on, I don't think I was on Air Ride yet.
Oh, okay.
And so, or I think actually I was, but they weren't, you hadn't adjusted. Remember, whoever put them together, like, had not.
Still so many issues with it.
Yes, so many issues. But the bags didn't go all the way. Like, I didn't have maximum ride height. So I had it all the way up and I went to back up. And this was rolling into Spocom.
Yep.
And the whole fucking front bumper ripped off the car. And it's molded in. Like, it's not screwed in. And when I was like, this is stupid. I want to go home. I didn't want to look at the car yet. And then, when you walk by, I'm like, do you see that?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not supposed to be there.
Zip tie it back up.
And then that was the same show, wasn't it? Where like your lights weren't working either. And so then like, I just remember you walking over to Taylor and being like, please help me. Like, I'm over this.
I was like, I'm done. I'm like, I want to go home. And I was just like, oh, babe, like laughing. And I was like, no, I'm serious.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you work so hard for that,
100%.
You're like, and I think that maybe that's why some of us have the issue when people walk in and they're just like, cool, I have a show-ready car I bought on Craigslist. Let me win that trophy.
Yeah, and you're like, it's not that easy.
No. Yeah. And I also think like being in it for the right reasons. It's like if you're in it just to win the trophy.
If you're a trophy chaser, that's not what we're here for.
That's right. That's
not what this is about.
I could care less. Like, right? Because of certain affiliations that I have, there's a lot of cars or a lot of shows my car can't be at.
Yeah.
And that's fine. And it can be at for show, but I'm not getting...
You're not going to win a trophy.
Yeah, I'm not getting a trophy for that.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But there's so many who only chase that trophy and then throw a fit if they don't get it.
Yes.
And I'm like, come on. It's just not...
And that just comes with the intentions thing. Like if, regardless man or woman, if you're here and to have fun and this is your hobby and this is what you love doing and you want to put the time and the effort in, awesome. But I don't care if you're a man or a woman. If you go buy a car on Craigslist that's fully built, and let me tell you right now, there's about 23 of them on Craigslist right now for sale, just in Arizona. Really? A lot of people are swapping their builds right now. They're ready to start something new. If you just go pick that up and you show up to a show and you try to just be like, I'm here to win a trophy, no, you're not in it for the right reasons. And no one's going to give you the respect. Yeah. So don't cry when you don't get the respect or you get the hate because you kind of did that to yourself.
And then I feel like that creates like a negative look on the people who have been in the industry, who have put the work into it, and then they don't get a trophy, and then they're upset.
Yes.
And then people are like, oh, why are they upset? Okay, well, rightfully so at that point, right? Yeah. And which I feel like, at least for myself, I try to do a really good job of not showing frustration in public with things like that and like have that conversation behind closed doors. But I do think like that is something to be said where so many times the people who have put in past shows, right? Yes. And these shows that have been around for years and years and years who they pick the same car over and over again. It's people are pissed because they're doing what shows are built to do to make the car better every time. Yep. And when somebody is doing that and somebody shows up with a car they bought on Craigslist, they're pissed. Yep. And it's rightfully so.
Yep. No, I totally agree. We will jump into kind of the social media side of things and kind of the visibility, because I know a big part that kind of happens with kind of the women's side of scenes is the kind of double-edged sword of social media. Mm-hmm. You know, you're trying to get yourself out there, maybe trying to get sponsorships. For you, it's modeling. You know, what kind of is that issue with that double-edged sword? How does that affect you, or how's that kind of changed how things work?
Mm-hmm. So because I have a big presence in the modeling world and the car world, I feel, or like my car page, right? I feel like I do my best to split the two, because I'm like, I want to showcase my build and I want to showcase my modeling. Doesn't always work.
Right.
A lot of the times I feel like I push my build and push things related to social media through my model page because it's where I have the most visibility. Mm-hmm. But I feel like the double-edged sword with that is like, you're either going to have people who really like the content. They don't like the content, right? They're like, I'm either here because I want to look at you in a swimsuit or I want to look at cars. Right. And so sometimes it doesn't cross. Like, thankfully I feel like for myself, I built everything on the car, like car modeling, car scene. So I have majority of those followers. But that's always a piece to it. And then the other piece to it, which comes with everything, and like we talked about, is just the online hate. Like, you're going to get people who don't like what you post and don't like what you see. And I also think as a sponsorship, though, from the car side and the build, when you're trying to get sponsors in that aspect, mm-hmm. it is a lot harder as a woman who has a modeling presence in the industry. And it's not just straight built off of the cars, right? So if I use my car page for a sponsorship, it has like 1,200 followers,
Right.
right? They're not really paying attention to that. But if I use my model page that has it and my vehicle's on there, majority of my modeling stuff is with cars, but it's not car presence. So I think in a lot of ways, does it open opportunities for like car shoots, shows, things like that? Absolutely. Does it open the opportunities and the doors for sponsorships for the vehicle? Not so much. So still kind of learning, figuring out where that is.
50-50 take. And, you know, we kind of touched on it a little bit last week of like, if you're a woman who's entering the scene, and let's say maybe your page started as a model page or even the OnlyFans or things like that, you have a very heavy presence. You know, we're talking 20, 30, 40,000 people. You now enter a car into it. Does that benefit you in getting sponsorships? Because in some cases, I feel like it might, because they're like, shit, 30,000 people, we get to really push our product. Or is it a downgrade because you have associations elsewhere?
Probably depends on the company.
I think it depends. Yeah, 100%. So like when I first got into the scene, I was known for the model page, right? And the model side. So when I very first got this car, before I even turned wide body, I did have a ton of sponsorships that came from the page. When it became a wide body and I was like, oh, let me try to separate this out, there were so many sponsorships, and that car would not even be possible to be what it is now without those. And I think modeling played a huge part in that. But now in 2025, being established, being around for a long time, people having fully car dedicated pages, I think that depending on the business, it does make it a lot harder.
Yeah.
Now, it's been a minute since I've gone after a sponsorship. I'm definitely going to be a trial and error thing. I'll have to test that out. But what I will say that I find interesting, and on the positive side of that, is like for my drift car, I got my very first sponsorship with Energy off my model page.
Interesting.
So I think it truly depends on the company. But like if it is just like if it's not a well-known company, or maybe it is well-known, but they're not known for showcasing their sponsors or sharing social media posts, I think it's a lot harder to get those versus like Rohana, for example, they showcase and share their vehicles that are sponsored.
Right.
It doesn't really matter if it's a car page or a model page and what it was based out of. If you're going to share them, typically you're going to get a sponsorship.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. If you're going for a sponsorship a company that relies heavily on
social media engagement.
Engagement, and really, I mean, you look at a lot of these companies, they don't make their own content anymore.
Yep.
They're sharing.
It's all USG.
Yeah.
User generated.
They're user generated content. And so if you're looking for a sponsorship from one of those, it's much easier, I feel like, especially with a model page when you're drawing hundreds of thousands of views on a regular basis. They really don't care if you're in a bikini or next to a car. Their product's getting put in front of so many people. But now, how does that affect the representation of women on social media and car scenes?
The argument could be made that we now have an unfair advantage as a woman because we're able to put it on a bikini.
I mean, let's be honest. Let's be 100% honest. If I don't have a huge following on my car page, but I've got a decent following on my business page and other things that I've done. If I go apply for a sponsorship or you go apply for a sponsorship, if we had the same amount of followers, but you're in high heels and a bikini or whatever in a modded culture babes outfit, are you going to get that sponsorship over me?
Absolutely not.
I think it depends on the company. There are some companies that are going to go for that look, and then there are some companies that are going to avoid that at all costs.
So I do see that, and what I think it really depends on is like this. Again, the industry is so male focused. We're getting out of that, but it is.
It's still
so. I think if you and I have the same amount of followers and your page was just solely cars, you would 1,000% get the sponsorship over me. Still in this year, right? 5 years from now, 10 years from now,
who knows?
I don't think it would matter.
Yeah.
I think we're going in that direction where it doesn't matter if you're a male or a female, you're going to be supported equally, right? Who knows? But in this, if it was today and we had the same amount of followers, you for sure are getting that sponsorship over me.
See, that's so interesting because I think if you were to ask
a
man in that
they're gonna say that I would
100%. Because how many times you see comments on these girls' pages that they do the modeling and they do the photo shoots, but they're also building their car on the side, and they're including that in their page as well. And they're like, oh, you just got all that shit for free.
Right. If I think, like I've said, and I know you guys both follow me, but like I've said before, I am working to make that model page very car focused again, and modeling with cars and doing those things, which I've been kind of out of that scene for like health issues, right? So I'm like, I had to take a step back from that. Yeah. But like, as I'm going back into that, I'm like, okay, if I make this super car focused, still modeling, car in a bikini, car in shorts, even some sporadically that aren't with a vehicle.
Right.
Do I think that companies would then pick that up due to the follower count? Yes.
Yeah.
But do I think that if my page was just all bikinis, and I just have in my bio that I built a car and you have to click this page, do I then think that the sponsorship would come? No. Because I think then they're going to go look at the car page. They're going to see a bunch of pictures of the vehicle with 1,200 followers. And they're like, what benefit does this have to my business? So I think it does, I think you're right in a lot of ways too. It depends on the business and what they're looking for, because a lot of these, UGC creators.
I know, I said USG. I was like, no, that wasn't right.
I'm like, I know what you're talking about though, but a lot of
user-generated content.
Yeah, a lot of those content creators are that. They're women, they're wearing low-cut shirts, they have nothing to do with the business. They're just getting paid for it because they're pretty, where some businesses don't align with that. And like me personally speaking as a woman, I wouldn't say that I would align with that in a car industry. I want the people that I'm sponsoring to have representation in the industry.
Well, you want to make sure, I mean, at the end of the day, just because you get a sponsorship doesn't mean it's a fucking good part, right? Like, I think there also comes the fact is like a lot of these people that are maybe just building their car just for the views, they're just taking sponsorships from left and right. And like, that's great that you got a bunch of free parts, but that doesn't mean it's a good company.
And that's what I'm saying is like some of the best companies too, when these cars were built with high quality, don't even exist anymore. Like they're not on social media. Like my wide body sponsor.
Oh, they're gone.
They're gone. Like mine is a one of one.
Yeah.
And so people ask me, I still get DMs all the time. Where'd you get your wide body? Where's it from? I'm like, the US version of the company kind of made a knockoff. Like, here you go. And I'm happy to share all of that information. Yeah. But the reality is, a lot of the like high quality business parts they don't exist. Yeah. They don't have the online presence where they're doing it for views. They're going to build a car to post on the internet. They might make some decent money off of the views, but that car is either not workable, not showable, or it's going to be torn apart in a year.
The parts fall apart. Yeah, the body kit's trash.
It's on to something else.
And it's like, you got it for free, but like, was it worth it? You know, like there's so many things to be said, regardless if you're a woman or man when it comes to sponsorship, is like, just because you get a sponsorship doesn't mean it's a quality part. Yep. And it doesn't mean that it's going to be the best in interest for you.
Yep. And I think that's why when I built, because I was so new in the industry when the car accident happened, and I'm like, let me build this thing. Right. I was relying on you guys, right? You and Tempe Collision Center and Tyson and the people who really knew the industry to make sure that the parts were okay. I can tell you right now, separate from that Drift sponsorship I got, I have not chased a sponsorship in 6 years. Yeah. Because I don't know quality-wise where it would be.
There's so many new companies now. You know? There's so much crap that has flooded the market.
And I think Tyson does a really good job of vetting that and finding sponsors, because that man, I don't know how he does it. He gets sponsors left and right.
I know, right?
Some of the stuff he gets is like really high quality, but there are definitely things that I've seen where I'm like, that's not going to work.
There's so many things. He's like, oh yeah, they sent me this for free. And I'm like, just throw it away.
Yeah. I'm like...
I will say, like, I do think that to a certain extent, like, there could be a potential upside depending on the company. Yes. But the companies that are going to take just the woman in the bikini probably aren't the ones you want the sponsorship from anyways. Yeah. And so at that point, like, maybe we're getting a benefit because we have boobs. Free. Cool. Good for us. But, like... are we actually building a car that's going to go win anything or that's going to be worth anything beyond just getting the views to make my money? And fine, if that's what I want to do, then let me make my money that way. But
I also think that the reason a lot of companies leverage that is because historically, and especially over the past 5 years with the online presence of, like you mentioned, OnlyFans, or just like people utilizing TikTok videos or Instagram lives, like all of these things that women have had, and their followers are crazy high, or they're like, oh, I might know them from here or here. Some companies do cling to that because they're like, oh, this girl has 100,000 followers. I don't really care if she's in the industry or not. Let me pay her to sell a car part.
Well, and the good thing about that for a lot of those companies as well is like they can just build her car with sponsored parts. That doesn't mean she's going to show it, but they can put her car and her at the booth, and they're guaranteed to attract 100,000 guys because she's in a low-cut shirt.
And so I think that social media, in a way, is kind of dangerous, right? Because the way that we look at it, like, I love it. I think it's so great for businesses, but also at the same time, that's what those businesses are attracting.
Yes.
Versus like, you're putting somebody in the booth that has nothing to do with the industry. Who's looking up to that? And that's the way I look at it. It's like, I want to build something that people can look up to.
Yes.
Like, okay, she started as a model. She built her own car. She's getting into the drift scene. But like, this isn't my whole life, right? I'm a mom. Like, but I showcase that as well to say, okay, you can do all these things and still be a mom. And it also doesn't matter how old you are if it's a passion and you want to build a name for yourself in that direction.
Right.
Whereas when these companies start using whoever and it's very surface level, but they attract all this attention, it's like, okay. And that's really kind of where the double-edged sword falls.
Yes.
Because you may have the morals, the family values, the perfect business, the support. We're building this because we have all the right intentions and we want to build up the next community. Versus that person's like, I don't care. I'm going to showcase this person with 100, 500, whatever, 1,000 followers because I know it's going to be quick money for me.
And I think the problem is sometimes is women get clumped into all one group. Because there are so many women out there that are doing it the way you're doing it. And they want to model and they want to build a car and they have a full vested interest in the scene.
Yep.
But because in, 30% of the posts, they're modeling in front of cars or modeling at other events, people go, oh, I'm just going to lump them in with that other sum of those people that are just kind of doing it for the views and for the income, which there's nothing wrong with that portion either. But these are two very separate groups.
100%. Yeah, and it does. And that is, I think, my biggest fear with social media is I try to separate it because I don't want it to all be lumped into that.
Right.
But I do also understand at the same time from a perspective of business and engagement, sometimes that has to exist.
Yes.
But I do think that it can create a very negative space when I could just be looked at as, oh, she's just a model. But no, it's so much more than
You're
that.
Like, I'm a mom. I'm building a car. I have a full-time job on top of all of this. Like,
you didn't sell us our house, but you helped us refi our
I
house.
did.
Exactly. It's like
you're
I'm
so
not
much
the
more than
same.
a pretty face. Like there's a brain, there's everything else behind there. And I think the problem with social media when we get onto that surface level is it's like, she's a hot pair of tits.
And that's what I was going to say.
Like,
it's
how
surface
cool.
level.
Yeah,
It's like social media is what you want it to be, right?
Yes.
And some people really feel like they want to share their whole life on there.
Yeah.
And on my model page, I don't. I want to protect my kids. I really don't talk a lot about my job.
Yeah.
I talk sometimes about when we bred Frenchies because that's an outlet to sell. I'm a salesperson.
Right, exactly.
Right?
It's a business.
And so like in that aspect, I do understand. But also it's like, I'll get comments now where it's like, where you been? Are you still modeling? You want to do a photo shoot? Blah, 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 blah.
You're
and I'm
like, well, yeah, but I got shit to do.
But right. And like even some car shows, like, and sometimes, don't get me wrong, he asks it out of the best intentions, but like Tyson sometimes will be like, well, do you even still like this? And I'm like, I love it, right? But it's like, and I'll get people in my DMs, do you still have your car? Yes. But mom, full-time job, like I come home, I work like 14 hours a day. Like
Yeah.
some people don't understand that in this industry, like in the mortgage world, that's what it is, right?
Well, like-
and then life and animals and all of those things. It's like, I love what I do. I love the car scene. I love the industry, all that. But
it's not my whole life.
it's not right. It's not my whole life. And learning how to juggle that, for a long time, I would just shut it out. I'm like, I have to step
I'm just
back
not going to do this at all.
completely.
Yeah.
And I won't even click on that page
Yep.
because I know people are waiting for me to respond.
Yep.
Like, I just clicked on it today and I told you when I texted you, I was like, hey, text me. I haven't been on this page in a minute. I know when I look at that, I'm going to have like 50, 60, 70 DMs. And I'm like, I'm not ready for that.
Right.
I have to take a step back. So I think in social media, when you're like, people think, yes, exactly. She has boobs.
Yeah.
That's all she is.
She's got boobs and a butt and a pretty face.
Because I don't necessarily want to share.
We don't want to,
You know?
So the people that air their entire life on social media, it's generally because there's a reason for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's generally a business interest or a
Yeah.
sponsorship interest. Generally, people don't just air their life on social media. You generally like to keep that for your life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a really big issue with social media is there's a lot of people that don't understand that like,
Right. They think they're entitled to knowing everything about
Yes.
me.
Especially
And so-
as a woman.
Yes.
It feels like, especially as a woman, it's like, well, you put yourself out there, so give us all of it then.
Yep.
And so I've noticed that as well. So like even on both my car page and my model page, if I don't respond to something, it's like, hello, where are you?
Yeah.
Question mark.
Why aren't you
Why aren't you
responding
responding? Unsending a message, resending a message. I'm like, hold on a second. And so like that will overstimulate me. And I'm like, I can't handle that right
Yep.
now. And I think when I think back to like all of this and like sponsorships and social media and like being a woman, it's almost like because of the entitlement, they expect you to be a little bit more available.
Yes.
Whereas for a guy, they're like, oh, hey, dude, I haven't heard from you in a week. It's fine.
Right.
But you're a woman, and even like talk about the sponsorship side of things. I want you to post a sponsorship. Hello? Like I had a company a few years ago that sent me, hey, these are my guidelines. This is what I would like. Do you want to do it? And I was like, I honestly don't know if I have the bandwidth for it. Give me a few days to look it over. Every day, hello, question mark. So are you interested? Oh, I guess you're not interested. Oh, I sent a package to your house. Oh, this, like, they literally sent a sponsorship package to my house before I even had a chance to make the decision.
You're
and
like,
then
I
was
just want to look over the contract.
I'm like,
shit.
I can't do this. And I shipped it back. And then a few weeks later, they reached out again. Oh, did you decide? Oh, I'm going to send it back to her. I'm like, respectfully, no.
Yeah.
I can't.
If this is
Because,
what
like,
you're going to do, I don't have time for this
yes.
shit.
And I'm like, one, I don't have time. Two, really haven't done my research on the company enough to know if this is even something I represent.
Right.
And that is the other piece of it is I don't want a sponsorship or I don't want to represent a brand that doesn't align with who I am.
Yep.
Or something I need, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't align with me, it's not something I'm going to go after. Like, that's great to get free stuff and post because you're going to get paid. But for me, I'm not taking the money on something if it's not something I align with.
Yeah.
It has to be something I'm either going to support, align with, I know I'm going to post. Because if it doesn't, it's
useless.
It's useless to me,
Yeah.
yes. And everybody else, they're going to see I'm not interested in this.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, like, you can lie to a camera all day and try to pretend
Mhm.
like this is the greatest shit in the world. But,
Mhm.
like, people are going to realize that, like, it's not on your car. Or,
Right.
like, you're not actually using it. And they're going to be like, why? I thought you were sponsored by them. You're like, yeah, it doesn't mean I fucking use their shit.
Yes.
It just feels like a complete lack of boundaries. And
It
as
is.
my cynical, like, female self, where like we experience a significant lack of boundaries more than men do just
Yeah.
in everyday life. I have to think, like, if they had been going after Taylor or like Tyson for that same sponsorship, like, would they have sent that package to their house and felt
Right.
that entitled to your time and your response and your answer and your energy? Probably not. I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
Some people are just fucking wild. But, like, in general, it feels like females are much more subject to that, too, of just, how dare you not respond to me?
Yes.
You are deserved an answer, or they are deserved an answer because you are female.
And that I will say I have seen a lot in all of my years of doing this. And even with photographers who are
Yeah.
like, are you going to respond to me? And just a matter of like, if I don't respond in 30 minutes, right?
That's crazy.
Which is
It's
wild to me.
multiple messages.
Like, that's even hard
And-
for me to respond as a business in 20, 30
Right.
minutes.
I'm like, I couldn't imagine being on the other end of that, being a business, reaching out to somebody, male or female, and being like, hey, this is what I'm offering here. Are you interested? Hello? Question mark. You must not be interested then. It's been 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, I could have been in the shower. I might be feeding my kids.
I could be out to dinner with my friends.
Right.
Like,
yeah,
Maybe I
I'm
have
working.
a migraine and I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
I'm like, hold on. So I think that there, for whatever reason, is this like self-entitlement on social media, especially with women, that kind of creates a little bit of a negative aspect. And I will say for me, like when I see those instances, it 100% makes me put a wall up.
yeah,
I'm like,
I don't blame you.
I want to do these things and I want to be involved. But when it's so overpowering like that and just like it just makes me react. I'm like, who do you think you are? I'm like, I'm never responding to you now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, you're definitely not going to you don't get to know now. Sorry, I keep hitting this, but you don't get to know now what I was doing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you, sorry, I was feeding my child or I was working. I'm just respectfully walking away from that situation.
Respectfully, no.
Yeah.
Respectfully,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting hearing it from a women's point of view because as a man, I'll be honest, you don't get that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, I will say as a business, the lack
You've
of
started to get it. As a business, you've definitely started to get it on a lack of
demand
boundaries.
of like, it's 11:30 at night
Mhm.
and like I get a message of like, can you do this to my car? First of all, why are you messaging a business at 11:30 at night?
Right.
Like, did you really think you were going to get a response? But like,
And these are like people you don't know.
no,
that are
just
like,
random new clients that are just like, can you do this to my car? And I'm like,
Or people who are like showing up at our house without an appointment when like everything plastered against any of his social media, website, anything is like, we only work by appointment only.
yeah, we're a private shop because.
But they pull up to the house and they're like, can you do my stuff? And he's like, no, it's Friday at 5. What do you mean, can I do your
The
stuff?
amount of calls that I get that are like, do you guys install radios? And it's always radios for some reason. I don't know why we wait to the last minute to do radios. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, you know, we're booked till like November right now.
Yeah.
Like we're fucking flooded. And we're filling up fast for the rest of the year, which is great.
great.
But like,
yeah.
I'm like, yeah, for something like that, you're about 2 weeks out. And they're like, I need it done today. I'm like, first of all, I don't even know if I have parts in stock for you, but like, you're here. You know,
Yeah,
like,
and they're calling from outside the house.
Yeah.
Like, they're already
they're like
here.
outside the shop. Like, I'm here. Can you do this today? And I'm like, I don't even know who you are.
right.
I don't have parts. You don't even have an estimate. Do you want me to say yes and then just charge you whatever the fuck I feel like? Like,
It's
But
the
it's the-
entitlement thing. And
Yeah.
it goes back to that.
and I can't imagine how bad it is for a lot of women on social media because
Yeah.
as a business, if I'm getting that, I couldn't imagine for models.
100%.
They must be absolutely
Yep.
insane.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And
So
like, especially if you're getting it as a business like that, it is very similar to that, but it is all of the time.
dude, that's
And it
insane.
is, I think what gets me, and like, whatever, send 5 messages. I have my notifications off on that part. It's not going to bug
Yeah, I'll
me.
get to it when I get to it.
But it's when somebody sends a message and then it says this person unsent a message and then they send it again and then they unsend it because they want it to notify you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, come on.
Send me a message and I'll get to it when I can.
There's just the lack of boundaries there for women.
Yeah,
For sure.
that's crazy. That just flabbergasts me. And like,
yeah.
I just look back to like when we first started dating and like the difference between men and women of like Tinder.
Oh my gosh,
Oh.
our Tinder profiles,
Drastic difference.
drastically different.
Like I had like when I was
Drastically.
dating, like I talked to like you'd get like maybe 1 or 2 matches a day.
Yeah.
You talk to a couple girls at once. She showed me hers after we started dating, and she was like, "I had 371 matches in a week."
When I was first dating
Uh-huh.
him, I eventually showed him, or I told you or whatever, how
Yeah.
many dates I had been on, like in like a 2-week span. And I had been on a date like
Once every day.
every other day with a different guy for like 2 weeks
Nope.
straight. And so fine, like we're laughing about it, but it's very much like that lack of boundaries and how for every one guy I went on a date with,
There's 16 more.
there was 16 who were creepy and who were, hello, are you going to respond to me? The most out of pocket was like first liners of like, can I eat popcorn off of your insert? I had that one. Can I eat popcorn off of your insert expletive here? And I'm like, dude, this is
solid one-liner, bro.
This is your first line, but like the lack of boundaries. And yes, it's Tinder. It's a date, and Tinder very much is.
But the problem is like as a woman in the car scene, especially if you're modeling, it's probably no different.
Well, I was gonna say it's Tinder, so like, and yes, Tinder now, especially back when we were on it, it was really kind of the first dating app, and so now it really has like the hookup connotation to it, and it didn't as much when we were on it.
That's bullshit.
Well, I mean, it did, but it was like Bumble was still new. Other things were new. But what I was going to say is like, okay, fine. I'm putting myself out there in a certain way where it's like, yeah, reach out to me. And the lack of boundaries there are almost equal to what you're getting, and you're not putting yourself out that way.
You could totally compare it to that, right? Because yes, it's a dating profile, right? But Instagram is a profile. Yeah. People have access to that. People have access to message it, respond, like a post, comment
on a post.
They can do whatever they want to do. I think that very similar, if you compare it to a dating site, some people treat it exactly the same way.
Yeah.
Like they're
expecting the response from you in the same way that they would on that.
Yes. And you get a lot of unsolicited DMs. Like also very like explicit non-solicited DMs. I'm like, on what planet is this okay?
Yeah.
Because a man, even a woman, is not doing that to a guy. Like they're not doing that on their Instagram profile or a business profile. And that's one thing I've been very, very transparent about on my page is like, this is a business. Yeah. Like I'm a wife. I am a mother. I run a business. I work a full-time job.
Modeling is not just for your viewing pleasure.
Right.
It's a business. I make money from this. I get sponsorships from this. This is not just for the shits and fucking giggles.
And it's not for your attention.
And for a long time ago, it was so extensive where Tyson's like, do I need to like run this for you? Because the disrespect that you get is wild. And I'm like, no, I can handle it. And this was maybe more when like I myself lacked boundaries, right? Where I'm like, it's fine. I'm just going to let it go. Like I'll just respond and be nice. And now I'm like, fuck off. Yeah. I'm not responding to this. Yeah. Like I'm not responding to you. I'm going to block you. I'm not giving you the time of the day. There is a certain level of respect. And I feel like as you get older and you start to know like who the fuck you are, you're like, I would never tolerate this in the real world. Yep. Why am I tolerating it on social media? Yep. And I just don't. I'm like, no, I won't do it.
Yeah. But I think that that's the problem is the fact that like going back to the dichotomy of like the double-edged sword of they would never say that to you in person.
Yes.
Why are they saying it to you over the phone or whatever? And the double-edged sword really is like it is such a huge help, and you are generating followers and you're generating income and you're generating a lot of things that are beneficial off of it, and yet at the same time it comes at the expense of burnout and really creepy guys and the potential that like you are putting your life out there to a certain extent, and that can be dangerous, right? And so there is this really big trade-off of it's great, and it's also fucking terrifying, especially for a woman to put yourself out there.
Yes. And I think because there is so many things that happen in like 2025, I say this every year, I'm like, there are things that were not on my bingo card that happen, right? Where I'm like, okay, there are people who really do, and like, they get stalked. People want to know where they are. Like photographers, even people posing to be photographers. We're starting to see that come out more and more. Yeah. And it is terrifying and scary. And especially as a mother and a wife where I'm like, okay, I love this. Like I love the industry. I love being a model. I love being in the car scene, but there is some fear behind that because of the lack of boundaries that have happened where I'm like, okay. And now thankfully Tyson's with me at all of this.
Right.
But if I was a single woman or a 17, 18-year-old girl getting into this scene, that's where it gets scary. It's really how do we protect that? Because
Yeah, you have the benefit of having a big, strong husband come with you all the time.
And also
the benefit,
so many years of experience.
I was going to say, the years of experience where she can shut it down because she knows that she
you can
doesn't
see
need
the
to
signs, but
tolerate
for
it.
someone that's just entering the industry and they see this great opportunity and all of a sudden it's a really bad situation.
How many true crime stories do you hear like that?
That's right. That's where I go into it. I'm like, okay, so even though, sure, maybe that's more on the model side, you do hear about that in the car industry.
Oh, 100%.
There is for sure, I have heard myself of situations that happen in the car scene with younger women, or even go as little as girls, that situations can happen with because they're either not educated, protected, not surrounding themselves with the right group of people.
We've heard some of those stories.
And social media plays a huge factor in that.
100%. What are some pieces of advice that you can offer to new women coming into the scene, whether it's modeling or it's just the car scene in general, that can maybe help them avoid those situations or just kind of help them enter the scene a little bit easier?
Yeah. So I think it's really finding your people, right? And it's figuring out a way to, one, not be afraid to reach out and ask questions. Reach out to the models that have been in the scene, or even you're a woman in the industry building a vehicle. Reach out to those people that you know have a presence that are in the scene so they can surround themselves with the right people. Figure out, okay, is this somebody that I want them to be my mentor? How do I get into that situation to protect them? But I think there's so many different situations where it all starts with finding the right group of people to help lead you into that,
100%.
to make sure you're protected and not getting into a situation of negativity or fear, or really getting yourself in a scary situation that you can't get out of because you didn't take the time to research who that group is. Where are you protected? Who's the family? Who is here for the right reasons? And I think it really starts there. But I think once you find that, it just allows you to grow in such a cool community and be safe.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing, is you think it won't happen to you, or you think that everybody is friendly and safe and social media is a safe place and these are your people because they're following you and they're liking you and all of that. So I think it's really just a matter of guidance. I think it really is with these younger crowds.
Yeah.
I think there's something to be said for trusting your gut too.
Oh, 100%.
I think us as females, humans in general don't like to trust their gut and they like to talk themselves out of it. But women just end up in situations like that more often. And so like you end up in a situation where you're talking to somebody and, you know, they're really, really pushing you to join their car club and you should really come and you should really be a part. And it's like,
but why?
Why are you working so hard, bro? And I think that I think that I would say trust your gut. And also, if somebody's talking down to you because you like that, or about something that you like, if they're talking down to you for something that you like or something that you're really passionate about, or you're like, look at my car, like I know it's just starting, but I'm really excited. Yeah. And this can go for anybody who's starting out. And if somebody comes up to you and goes, well, you're fucking stupid because you're not there yet, run. Yeah. Like run as far as you can. And that's not just females, that's males.
Oh, it's anybody
starting out too.
And that's like, I honestly think this isn't even just women, right? Like it's having the support for men and women to make sure you're in a safe community with supportive people. Because at the end of the day, and not even just things that can happen that are so scary or like having a stalker or whatever, but it's just a matter of like getting taken advantage of. Could you be getting stolen from? Like all of the things that can happen by just not doing your research. And it sounds so funny, like people who aren't in this industry are not going to get that. They're just going to be like, what are you talking about? It's a car club.
Yeah, who cares?
It's a car community. But it is so much deeper than that.
Women will get it.
Especially for the, yes, women
will
get
understand it. Any of the men listening, maybe not.
Right.
But the women will understand across everything you've said has hit so hard. And I'm like, I'm not even really in this community. But because you're a woman, you understand it.
100%. And I think the men who are in the scene as a passion will understand this.
Yes.
I think the people who are in it, who are there to pick up girls, or they want to look cool, or maybe they were a troubled kid, or they're just in it to be in it, they may not get it. And that's okay. But if this helps one woman or one man understand that they can reach out, do their research, and like the car community is so much bigger than it just being a car. I'm happy with that.
And I think if you reach out too, and the person on the other end goes, fuck you, bro, I'm not going to help you, then they're not the kind of person you want to be around anyways, right? Like you, if somebody's reaching out to you or Tyson or Casey 100%. Or you or anybody who's like, dude, I'm just getting in. Where do I start? What shows should I go to? Who should I hang around with? Can I meet up with you at the next show? Like maybe you're not gonna banner him, right? But like you're gonna bring him in and teach and show him the ropes, right? To allow him or her to know where to go. And if the person on the other end is saying, fuck you, you're not cool enough yet, they're not worth your salt anyway.
Or they just leave you on red. And I'm like, that is one thing I will like preach about with what we have all created and like our team in general. And Tyson, I see it all of the time with his constantly responding. Yeah. Like constantly happy to help you. Here's where I got my parts. Here's this.
Well, there's no reason to gatekeep. It's not like it's...
Here's a safe team. This is what you can do to really grow your social media, grow your car page, whatever. Exactly.
It's a community.
And it's a community. It's not a competition.
Exactly.
And so many people view this as it's a competition.
Yeah.
And it's not. It's this community of love and support and freaking awesome cars and people.
It is not a competition at the end of the day. It's a community. And if we're not willing to build each other up and help each other, whether you're male or female or starting off or you've been here for a while, what's the point? If someone's going to reach out to you for help and you're just going to leave them on red or tell them to fuck off, you're obviously not in this community.
For the right reasons.
You shouldn't be in this community. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
and that is one thing I'm so proud of, I feel like, is to be in this time, right? With so much shit flying around.
Yeah.
And be a mom and be a wife and work full time and do these things and have a car that I've been fortunate enough to build and have you pull it apart many times and start to get into the drift scene and be a model and just be a part of the community in a healthy way. Like, I'm very proud of that. Whereas if I didn't have the same group of people, one, would I be in this scene? And two, would it have been healthy? And would I have been through some shit?
Yeah.
You know, in the industry.
Right.
It's the scene, the industry, everything in general, you can get taken advantage of in so many ways that it's like, how do we make sure those next generations don't?
Yep. Well, awesome. That is kind of all we got for today. I appreciate you guys being here, both of you. I know you live here, so it was much easier to have you here.
I get to go home.
You get to go home. You don't have to stick with me for the rest of the night. But thank you both. Just awesome episode. Really enjoyed going through everything with you. So I really do hope that someone takes something from it, male or female. You know, at the end of the day, if we can help one person coming into this community, that would be awesome. But yeah, thank you guys again. Thanks. Stephanie Boothe, Alyssa Misuraca. We will be back next month with another episode for some more shenanigans. So thank you guys. Have a great time. Bye.